Singapore is the island in Southern Asia. The main island is known as Pulau Ujong. It has a diamond shape, consists of its island and 58 islets, adjacent to Malaysia Peninsula to the north, the Johor Strait and Indonesia to the south, the Singapore Strait and the Strait of Malacca to the southwest. Because of the special location, Singapore is a focal point for Southeast Asia sea routes, has advantages in trading goods, communicating and traveling. It has two causeway bridges connecting to Malaysia, the Johor Singapore Causeway in the north and the Tuas Second Link in the west. Its total area is 704 kilometers square. It is 3.5 times as large as the size of Washington, D.C. The areas of water belong to Singapore are about 16 kilometers. The main island makes up of long, rounded hills and water reservoirs at the center. West and southwest are rolling lands, and flat lands are in the east and southeast. Singapore's 23% land areas are spent for forests, rainforests, and natural reserves. Due to its location, Singapore is protected from tsunamis by Indonesian islands, yet it is limited in freshwater resources. The coldest month is in December and hottest month is in May. The humidity is approximately 70 to 80%. Rainy season dominates when the humidity and rainfall are considered really high. From November to March, the northeast monsoon. The southeast monsoon is from June to September, which is the dry season. April to May and October are inter-monsoon months, when thunderstorms frequently appear in the afternoon and early evening. Local flash flooding is Singapore's greatest disaster, due to the replacement of high buildings and paved roads instead of the natural vegetation nowadays. Besides, Singapore occasionally has smoke haze. Since Singapore is a cosmopolitan country, it adapts four main languages. First of all, the most common is British English. Because of its colonial past, it is the mother tongue of most major groups, the language of instruction and administration. Singaporeans like to have conversations in Singapore English or Singlish, which is mixed between other languages. Singlish's main difference from English is the addition of some nonsense and funny words. They made up some usual English words like job, meaning reserve something, or gym, meaning difficult, complicated. Nevertheless, the local government does not like the idea of Singlish since it refers to the original British English. The second language is Chinese. Singaporeans have heritage as Chinese, therefore Chinese is the most common home-spoken language. In public writing, Singaporeans often use the traditional Chinese characters. The third spoken language is Malay. For indigenous Malaysians in Singapore, the Malay language is recognized as Bahasa Melayu, the national language of Malaysia. The last one is Tamil. This is an Indian language. Yet, Tamil speakers is minor. Indian Singaporean kids attend extra classes outside the schools, called UPTLC, Umar Boulevard Tamil Language Center. Culture in Singapore is a combination of many countries, mainly where the languages come from. British, China, Malaysia, and India. There are many religions in these countries, and they brought their cultures into Singapore as well. For example, Muslims from Malaysia do not eat pork or drink alcohol, so there is a part of Singaporeans do not have pork as a diet. Singaporeans have a strong sense of groups than individuals. Family can mean the whole family and best friends. Elderly are respected. They cared about strong hierarchical relationships. Singaporeans are seriously about one's dignity. Singaporeans prefer using non-verbal conversations and facial expressions. Religion is a special element to create a connection between generations of Singaporeans. There are three main religions: Buddhism or Taoism, Islam, and Christianity. The rest remains as Hinduism, atheists or their own religions. Buddhism or Taoism is the most popular religion from China. It's practiced by 61% of the population and is regulated by the Singapore Buddhist Federation. Buddhists set up organizations and businesses to help their people. Many festivals are celebrated nationwide regarding to Buddhism, such as Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival, and Hungry God Festival. Buddhists practice morality, concentration, and wisdom. Taoists worship ancestors, respect heaven, and compassionate human beings. Singapore adopts a huge number of Muslims, mainly Malays. More than 16% of the population is practicing Islam. Islam in a secular government country like Singapore is rarely accepted. However, Malay Singaporeans were indigenous Muslim. President Yusof bin Ishak, the first president of Singapore, was a Muslim. Parliament established the Islamic Council as a body of the government. Due to the practice of Islam, the Ramadan and the trip to Mecca are important. Therefore, the Islamic communities create many different opportunities for Muslims to accomplish their goal. Christianity is practiced by more than 18% of the population. One-third of that is Roman Catholic. Churches are the most dominative value for this religion in Singapore. The religion is among mostly Eurasians, Peruvians, Indians, and Chinese. They run schools, special homes, and many other counseling services and anti-drug abuse programs. Due to special location in Southeast Asia, Singapore is concerned as a commercial and transport hub where goods can import and export easily and safely. Head of the Gas, Coal and Power Division at IEA, Laszlo Varro, informed that Singapore was one of the focal points for establishing an Asian gas trading hub. Singapore is also known for its green environment and warm weather. This is one of the countries you can wear shorts all year long. Outdoor activities are favored, such as American football, soccer, basketball, and badminton. Singapore is strict in environmental protection policy. Walking on the street, if you accidentally drop a piece of trash on the pave and do not want to pick it up, you are fined up to 500 Singapore dollars, which is about 410 USD. Singaporeans have a real green and clean atmosphere. It is the 9th out of top 10 the clearest countries in the world. Shopping and food stores open 24 hours a day, serve customers at any time. The great deal is not about being served at midnight, but the food is rather cheap. One of the most famous shopping malls is Orchard Road. The most unlikely favorite things that foreigners think about Singapore is its English, which is basically English with Singaporean accents and words, which frustrated people who are not coming from Singapore. The mixed and blended culture brings many luxury brands into the country and has never stayed out of business discussions. With materialistic culture, a part of Singaporeans are stereotypes chasing the same elusive image.